You may have branded someone today, not with a hot iron, with a single line under an anonymous post. Knew it all along. You forwarded a screenshot to the next group chat and said nothing. You nodded when someone muttered, "That's just who they are." There is a strange relief in filing a person away as that kind of person. 176 years ago, one writer went looking for what that relief is really made of. Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote this novel in 1850. It's set in a 17th-century town where sin was judged out in the open, in the middle of the public square. A woman found guilty had to wear a single letter stitched in scarlet thread on her chest for the rest of her life. We don't sew letters onto anyone anymore. We type a name into a search bar instead. A mark that, once burned in, refuses to fade and follows you for life. The method changed from needle and thread to search results. The thing itself hasn't moved an inch in 176 years. The novel opens with a woman led onto a scaffold. Her name is Hester Prynne. A red letter A is fixed to her chest, the mark of an adulteress. But the town doesn't lock her away or beat her. It chooses a far more efficient punishment. It simply stands her up in the middle of the square where everyone can see. The whole town gathers to whisper, to point, to stare for a long, long time. Here is what Hawthorne saw through. What completes a brand isn't the person who stitched the letter, it's the watching crowd that reads it and murmurs. Nothing about that has changed. A single anonymous post about someone becomes an indelible mark only through the hundreds of comments beneath it, the screenshots quietly saved, the shares passed along. One hand may stitch the letter, but what keeps it from ever fading is all of us, watching in silence and passing it on. This is where the novel turns truly frightening. Hester never names the child's father. And that father, it turns out, is the young minister the whole town reveres most, Arthur Dimmesdale. While Hester wears her letter in the open and bears the pointing fingers, Dimmesdale climbs into the pulpit with an untroubled face. The people revere him all the more. But a hidden sin does not disappear. It eats him from the inside. Dimmesdale beats his own chest in secret, lies awake night after night, wastes slowly away. He picks up a habit of pressing a hand to his heart. Then one more figure slips in. Roger Chillingworth, who is, in truth, Hester's long-vanished husband, the one everyone believed dead. He hides his identity, sets himself up as a physician, and attaches himself to Dimmesdale. Pretending to tend the minister's health, he pours the rest of his life into digging out the man's secret and watching him slowly come apart. And the man who spends his whole life bringing another down, he is the first to rot. Hester, exposed, endures and survives. Dimmesdale, concealed, crumbles from within. Chillingworth, bent on another's ruin, turns into a monster himself. A brand kills more surely when it's hidden on the inside than when it's cut on the outside. Years pass. Hester does not run. She settles at the edge of town, makes her living with a needle, tends the sick, and is the first to reach the neighbors no one else will go near. And something strange happens. People begin to say something different about that A on her chest. Not adultery, they say, Abel. Some go so far as to call it angel. The letter hasn't changed. Its meaning has. Who changed it? Not the town, Hester did, by the way she lived one day at a time. And here is the coldest thing this novel has to offer. You cannot tear off the letter someone else carved into your chest. But what that letter comes to mean, that is rewritten by how you live everything that comes after. Only, it is not the work of a single season. It is the longest, loneliest fight there is. At the novel's end, Dimmesdale climbs that scaffold in the square himself. Before the whole town, he confesses that he was the child's father. He tears open his shirt, and on his chest, too, something had been carved, the same as Hester's. And so he dies in Hester's arms. Chillingworth, robbed of the man he meant to destroy, withers and dies soon after. Only Hester, pointed at her whole life, survives to the end. And here Hawthorne quietly asks us, was that scarlet letter really meant for Hester's chest alone? The minister who hid his sin, the husband who staked his life on revenge, and the whole town that stood a person up in the square and watched in comfort, was there no letter meant for them? In an age when carving a letter onto someone's chest is easier and faster than it has ever been, this 176-year-old question now turns to face each of us. Has that easy relief, the relief of filing someone away as that kind of person, ever come back to trouble you? Then open Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. It shows how uncannily a 17th-century town square resembles the square inside the screens in our hands today, and whose that letter really was in the end. It is not one woman's story. It is the story of all of us who stand and watch. Next time, Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. The face he shows the world never ages a day, while a portrait locked in an attic, seen by no one, ages and rots in his place. After the brand worn on the outside comes the portrait hidden within. New classics every Monday and Friday. Subscribing and liking is the single greatest help in tracking down the next masterpiece. Have you ever decided, once and for all, that someone was that kind of person? Or have you been the one branded that way? Leave it in the comments. You are not the only one.